Okay. Hello everyone. Right, welcome to Imprint Knowledge, and today we're going to look into part three. And in part three, what we're doing is that we're going to look into post-independence India. And I'm Varun Khuller. I'm formerly from the Ministry of Defense. I will be going through this topic. So post-independence India, very interestingly, from 2014, 15, 16, 17, there was not even a single question which we could say that was from post-independence India, though there were a few. In case there will be overlaps in them. Then 2013 we had 50 marks. That was a lot of marks, right? Then 2018 we had 25 marks, right? Okay, now this year we had 25 marks, and the question which was based upon the fact that Mahatma Gandhi had his 150th birth anniversary. Right. This was an expected question. So the question was, throw light on the significance of thoughts of Mahatma Gandhi in the present times. Now, obviously, what you're supposed to do, you're supposed to cover the thoughts of Mahatma Gandhi on different aspects and side by side tell its significance in the present time. And that would be the best for doing it because it's just for 10 marks. Mahatma Gandhi is a recurrent topic in one form or the other in GS1 and ethics. So I would advise you to cover this topic thoroughly, look into Mahatma Gandhi and debates with Rabindranath Tagore, prepare in the future for Mahatma Gandhi and Nehru as well. Right, you should search online articles for this. You'll find a TV debate as well on this relevance of Mahatma Gandhi in present times, Rajaspa TV, NDTV, etc., etc. And right, it was Gandhi Jayanti a few days ago, so definitely that would really be something that would be debated. So I think one method of starting, this topic would be the Gandhiji's talisman, in which he says, "I will give you a talisman. Whenever you are in doubt or whenever the self becomes too much with you, apply the following test. Recall the face of the poorest, the weakest man you may have ever seen, and ask yourself if the step you contemplate is going to be any use to him. Will he gain anything by it? Will it restore him to control over his life and destiny? In other words, will it lead to Swaraj for the hungry and the spiritually starving millions? And then you will find your doubts and your self melting away." So a wonderful thought, right? I think you maybe can even, this is somehow summarizes how Gandhiji thought about. So let's start the answer. So Gandhiji not only gave India its freedom, but also gave the world and us a new thought on non-violence and sustainable living. There's this famous quote of Gandhi, right? That the earth provides enough to satisfy every man's need, but not every man's greed. So that's something maybe you can use as well in this answer. So his teaching experiments are more valid today than ever, especially because we are trying to find solutions to worldwide greed, corruption, violence, runaway consumptive lifestyle, which is actually putting a very heavy burden on the world's resources. So the various teachings of Mahatma Gandhi. So non-violence is one, inclusive growth, obviously, sabka saath, sabka vikas, and that is basically seen to be Sarvodaya. And John Ruskin, onto his last, typically emphasized that. And irrespective of class, caste, creed, or religion, right? It basically stood for the total blossoming of, physical, mental, and spiritual faculties of human beings. Then we have Antodaya. Development should begin from the lowest, and considering that, as per Oxfam report, top 1% of Indians have 73% wealth in India, so there's definitely a need for this. Then Ram Rajya, principled ruled governance should be there, and governance should be transparent, accountable, and citizen centric. Then Satyagraha, and the principle of Satyagraha still holds, and examples are many. Jessica Lal case, Nirbhaya case, Anna Hazare movement, right? So Gandhi is still present in India in all of these, and even the Indian foreign policy is based on his thoughts in some ways. Then Swaraj, right, self-rule for panchayat and urban local bodies is a Gandhian thought, right? You can mention DPSPs as well if you want to. Gandhian DPSPs like Article 40, 48, etc. Prohibition of alcohol, especially in some parts, especially in Gujarat, can be seen to be a Gandhian thought. Sanitation, specifically Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, is definitely on his thoughts. And in the end, you should end with one of his quotes. So I'm ending with Albert Einstein's quote that generations to come, it may well be will scarcely believe that such a man ever walked in flesh and blood upon this earth. Right? So, okay, do try this question yourself as well. Write to us, right, at Imprint Knowledge. Let's go to the next question. Discuss whether formation of new states in recent times is beneficial for the economy of India. And this is for 15 marks. It has to be analyzed from an angle of economic benefit. And in that, if you think about economic benefit, it can be taken in terms of GDP and as well as per capita income. So if you have some data from that, you can use that. Though, even if you don't do that, that's also fine. Normally, UPSC doesn't really look for data, especially in GS1, I would say. Right. So the idea is to debate for or against, and then essentially to arrive at a conclusion. Well, let's look at for and against. So let's start the answer. So the reorganization of states has for long been a contention issue in India, and with respect to the effect on economy, it has proved beneficial in some cases. So you can give the example of Haryana having one of the highest per capita income, right? So that can be one thing, but it also has its disadvantages, definitely, right? For a paper, by economist Sam Usher of University of Oxford and Paul Novosad of Dartmouth, it says that it examined 12 years after the formation of states. So this is maybe a time period is a little low, but still it's okay. We find a marked increase in the economic activity immediately across the border in new states. They have given an example of Chhattisgarh, that the energy generating source of MP, that was Chhattisgarh, benefited because now it was selling the same electricity to Madhya Pradesh now. So that was very good. Also, the handicraft industry in Chhattisgarh, the native culture of the place got a boost, and it got a different cultural identity. And it also bring about the development of backward classes of society in Chhattisgarh. So this also is there, that there is now focus on smaller number of people, especially in a country like India of 121 crores. So, right, so definitely. So smaller states allows for more funds, better spending, and more vigilance, and hence more development. So maybe you can make a diagram from this. So maybe make a diagram in the answer using this. Obviously, you can give the example of China, that subnational units, it helped in having greater competition and reforms. You can give an example of Niti Aayog, that is encouraging competitive federalism, right, and as well as cooperative. So you can attract more investment. Larger states with extensive natural resources also have the resource curse. So Madhya Pradesh and Bihar, right, previously had the rich Chhattisgarh and Jharkhand, and that actually tells you that, okay, there are demands from North Bihar politicians for compensation for the loss of natural wealth of South Bihar, and that tells you that actually what happened with Chhattisgarh and South Bihar actually suffered because of the North Bihar and the people of MP. What are the points against it? Obviously, it leads to administrative expenses, more capital. Take the example of Amravati; they require so much money. They want special category, right, status. So that is a demand just because of this, right? Large states may diversify risk while enjoy economies of scale and the scope, which could be lost upon breakup. A large state, by virtue of having a large market, can generate financial resources more efficiently to supply public goods to its citizens. Smaller state may lose the benefit as it was getting the part of being a big state, such as non-payment of duties, benefits of state schemes, etc., and also resources, right? So obviously, initially at least the new state feels strained. Take the example of Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. Telangana has actually received Hyderabad, which actually is 50% of the revenue of Andhra. So they definitely have a huge advantage vis-a-vis, the Andhra Pradesh, right? So what we should do, give solutions right now. So creating new states is no panacea, definitely. And there is a benefit of state breakup, but more critical issues need to be addressed. So what you should do is that you should strengthen institutional boundaries for collective actions, because it tends to divide India, right? Then what we should do is that we should have a resolution by the state assembly, and we should also do analysis for economic viability of the future two states in case a state is using one or two states, right? But on the other hand, let's take the example of UP, right? So UP is such a huge state. I think definitely it should be divided into maybe 3 states. Maybe you can give something like that. But definitely before you divide that, you should have a referendum in the districts seeking to form a new state, and so that it doesn't become that one politician wants to commit suicide or is sitting for fast onto that, and divide the state because of that, right? Okay, so thank you so much for watching. Do try this answer, right, and write to us if you want to get it corrected. This is our Facebook page and our website, right? Okay, thank you so much. You can also email.